Buongiorno, everyone, and welcome to the end of season awards 2019-20 for the Newcastle United team. A few different categories in here, a few waste ones as well. So players who are far from getting an award. Yeah, more like a kick up the arse would be nice. No names mentioned. Bentaleb, and then we'll go into a few other things. So, Keg, what's the first category?
Well, there's two categories I think we should just try and whiz by because there's not really many nominees. The first one for me is Young Player of the Year. For me, I determine young to be like about 21 and under. I know in most categories they put them at about 23, but I think 23 is a little bit old. Like I know on like the PFA Player of the Year and stuff like that. It boils my piss when there's a player nominated in both Player of the Year and Young Player of the Year. I think if you
win both.
I think if you're good enough to be as good as the adults, then you didn't need to be in the Young Player of the Year category for me. So young, I think, would still include Saint-Maximin and Joe Linton. But for me, I think they'd be a bit too old. So for 21 and under, we haven't really had many come through. Sean Longstaff's had a bit of a shit season. So there's only one nominee, therefore one winner for me, and that's Matty.
Gotta be. That's the only one I can think of off the top of my head, Matty Longstaff.
No one else had much of a chance.
Nah, the other one that's featured is Tom Allen. He's played with 3 minutes and got an assist against Rochdale. That was it.
He's had a great under 23 season, but we're not in the under 23s. So first team, Matty's the only one who's actually really had an impact. I say Sean is under 23, so he could be nominated, but he's been shit. Yeah.
Matty all day.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ex-Newcastle player.
I know. See you later. Enjoy Udinese.
Yeah, you enjoyed this Young Player of the Year award, Matt.
And the second, probably the even more pointless award, we're going to go through positions now, starting from the back. Goalkeeper of the season, which is obviously Rob Elliott.
Darlow.
Darlow's played 6 games. Done okay, to be fair, but he's probably one of 2 nominees. But the other one is probably the player of the season, Martin Dubravka.
Dubravka, nice and easy.
And going on to something that actually matters. First real award of the night, best defender.
The tricky one.
It is. Nominees I've got wrote down are Jamal Lascelles, Jetro Willems, Kieran Clark, and Iron Man Federico Fernandez.
See, I'm tempted to go for Jetro Willems because of the impact he had when he was here. He was the most eye-catching one anyways, obviously, because he gets forward. He chips in with goals, some great goals as well, some great strikes. He had a lovely link-up with Saint-Maximin going on down that left-hand side. But if this is throughout the year, for the whole year, unfortunately, Willems didn't make it. You've got to give it to Fernandez, I think. Yeah,
absolutely. Iron Man powered through towards the end after lockdown, played every minute. And some games he wasn't great, but that's because he was absolutely gassed. Like he tried his best, and I think the last couple of games he showed a bit more energy than he had in the previous games. But throughout the season, really from start to end, for me, Fernandez was absolutely outstanding. Willems is a good case, but only played about 19 games. You could say the same for Kieran Clark. He was underrated, Kieran Clark. I thought he had a very good year, but again, only played about 16, 17 games. Lascelles was a brick shit house, to be fair. I thought Lascelles had a really, really good year, but Federico Fernandez all day long for me.
Yep.
Midfielder.
Best midfielder.
Yeah, nominees for me, John Joe Shelby, Isaac Hayden, Matty Longstaff, and Matt Ritchie.
I've got to go for Shelby. Shelby, for me, best year in a black and white shirt, most consistent year in his career, never mind just for Newcastle. Obviously finished as the Premier League top goal scorer for Newcastle with 6 goals, some class goals in there. You think of the Man City equaliser back in St James's when the crowd was there, 2-2. And he's been instrumental throughout. Really, we always rely on him to create things, to drop deep, hurt teams. We need him because without him and Saint-Maximin, there's no one else that's going to do anything. So Shelby's important. Shelby's had his best year. Yeah, he's captained the side obviously quite a bit as well. So Shelby, best midfielder for me.
No shot for Isaac Hayden?
He's in another category for me.
Aye, all right. We'll give it to John Joe Shelby then. We'll talk about Isaac Hayden in a bit. And we were going to do best striker if we're going to go goalkeeper, defender, midfielder, but there's 0 nominees. So we'll change that category and call it best forward. Again, clutching at straws. I think the first nominee, I was torn between Andy Carroll and Joe Linton. Just throw Carroll in for argument's sake. He's probably not going to win. And the others, Miggy Almiron, Dwight Gale, and Alan Saint-Maximin.
Got to be Saint-Maximin on it all day long. For me, another club gave Dubravka Player of the Year, but Saint-Maximin for me, just because of how much we love watching him, how much he gets you excited. He brings a spark to this otherwise mundane team. Learned how to find the back of the net towards the end of the season as well. Chipped in with more assists. Just the skill, the passion, the link up with the fans, Twitter, in real life, everything gets the tune, gets the fans, gets the club. He's just a pleasure to watch. Top class player. Hopefully he's still going to be a little mention as well, though. Has to go to Almiron, I think, who's been very, very good after grabbing his first goal in winter. Since then, he's kicked on. A lot of stuff he does for the team goes unnoticed. But Saint-Maximin's by far our best player, so by far the best forward.
Yeah, definitely. He is up there with player of the season as well, so that's not even close, really. No shot for Andy Carroll?
Maybe for the odd time that he has played. Maybe for Sheffield United away, was it Palace or Southampton at home? Like, he's still, to be fair to Carroll, like, we looked at his stats the other day, didn't we, in the player ratings, and he's actually got a few assists. We talked about his defensive duties that he does. Hard grafter. It's just a shame he's not on the pitch enough, and you kind of give it the best forward when he hasn't scored a single master goal.
Very, very true. The next two categories are comeback player of the year and most improved. I know a lot of people will get a bit confused by what they actually mean, so we'll start with comeback player of the year. Comeback player of the year is the player that's finished the season, second half of the season, a lot stronger than the start of it. Bit of an underdog going through. Maybe he's not everyone's favourite from the start of the season. And most improved is overall from the season compared to last season. So who's had a much better year this year than compared to last. So we'll start with comeback player of the year. And my nominees are Almiron, Manquillo, Gale, and Kraft.
Quite tempted to go for Manquillo because of how much he's developed. I always hated Manquillo, to be honest with you. I never thought he was good enough. But he's earned his new contract. Probably not 4 years of it, but he definitely earned a new deal towards the end of the season there. Not got much competition there at right back, but when he came in, he's done a job. He's improved game after game. But I think just because of the goals and the chances that he put away, forgetting the obviously Man City FA Cup game, Dwight Gale, because what did he score? 4, 5, 6 goals, was it, after restart?
Something like that, yeah.
And I think you saw his shot ratio. I mean, everything he was hitting was going in because at Newcastle, you are starved of chances, and Dwight Gale was getting probably on average 2 chances a game max, and he was putting at least one of them away. Some neat and tidy first touch finishes, good runs, started grafting more, battling more defenders as well, putting himself about. Considering before that now he didn't score a single goal in a year, Dwight Gale, to then score 5 or 6 in a busy period of 2-3 games a week. So finished strongly, did Dwight Gale.
He did, yeah. Miggy Almiron, he's got his first goal in December after almost a year without one, same as Gale. But Almiron came with quite a big price tag. He was the club's club record signing when he came in. And he started his career at Newcastle quite brightly, but he just looked like a bit of a waste of money, really, wasn't he? He was just missing chance after chance after chance, particularly at the start of the season. Just looked like he was never going to get going. But after he got that one, it just broke the duck, as we all hoped it would, but all said kind of half-heartedly, like, once he gets one, they'll come. But I don't know now. I don't really know how much it actually meant that. We were just kind of hoping that. But that actually did. He finished overall the club's top goal scorer with 8 goals, got a couple of assists. So I talked about the latter half of the season. I think Almiron's a huge shout. He was a massive player for us.
When you put it like that, it probably does go Almiron, really, because if it's not just Project Restart, it's throughout, because it showed what confidence can do to a player and how huge it is. Because like you say, he was missing chances from 2, 3, 4 yards out, and then after that, he's firing them from the edge of the box, from inside the box, top bins. You can see his head was a lot further up now.
Confidence.
He's a huge part in a footballer, and Almiron was massive for us like towards the end. So I'd probably say I give it to Almiron then.
Yeah, he'd probably be my shot. But the others, to be fair, even Kraft, like everyone hated Kraft, but after our restart, when we were like toying around once Manquillo got himself gassed out after restart, Kraft came in and actually played in his rightful position at right back, even filling in at centre back, and I thought he did all right. And now people were still getting on his back a little bit, but I thought Kraft was decent. Manquillo and Gale, I think they're all worthy nominees, but I think Almiron's the winner for me. Like,
agreed.
Mm-hmm. So most improved, better year than they had last year. Nominees for me are Fernandez, Shelvey, Hayden, and Clark.
I
think Isaac Hayden, to be fair, finished last half. Like, he would have been.
I remember Hayden finished strong, didn't he?
Yeah, he would have been my comeback player from last year because coming into the season, we all wanted him out. He wanted out. And his performances were lackluster. He was lazy. He was fucking shit, to be fair. And like, we all wanted him out. We didn't want to see him in the squad, but he was forced to with injuries to, I think it was Shelvey and Diarme, and Key was away on international duty. So that's when Sean Longstaff got his first start. So Hayden came into the team, and between him and Sean Longstaff, they were solid in the middle. And he finished the season as probably one of our best players. Like, coming into this season as a full season, I think he's been massive.
I think you've got to look at John Joe Shelvey here, to be honest with you, because you think last year, so in and out the team, wasn't he? Rafa didn't really fancy him. Sean was breaking through. We've seen a lot more of Longstaff and Hayden together. Shelvey was out of favour, but Brucey loved him from early on, even from Asia, when I had the warm-up that he was playing then, and he gave him that confidence, gave him the armband a lot of the time throughout the season. And if you had said to me, this time last year, Shelvey will be Newcastle's top goal scorer next year, you'd take the piss, wouldn't you, in the Premier League? You see, you having a laugh. So for him to get those goals, to get back to that level, and we mentioned earlier how big he's been as part of the best midfielder, I'd probably go Shelvey out of that group, because I think Hayden has always shown spells, showed good. Finished the season strongly last year, and then Clark's always reliable. Who are the other nominees? Fernandez is always reliable. So Shelvey, for me, from going from a player who was struggling to get into the team last year to being a captain and the top goal scorer, got to be him.
Yeah. As well, like, I think we've said, like, since the 2018 season, like, we were calling for him and Lascelles to go to the World Cup, and since they've both been shit, really. I think this year has been both a massive comeback year for both of them. Like Shelvey, definitely compared to last season. Like we were saying earlier in the season, I think maybe it's the West Ham game when we won 3-2 away to West Ham, and he scored that free kick. That was his first big performance of the season. And we were all saying, like this is typical Shelvey. He only turns up every few months. Like it's not 1 week in, 1 week off. It's like 3 months off, one game in. It's like it's not good enough. But this season he's been majorly consistent. He has been class, and he's a top goal scorer in the Premier League. I don't know if that's credit to him or discredit to the strikers, but
6 wasn't much of a benchmark, like, was it?
It wasn't really, was it? No. I think Shelvey's probably a good shot for that one. Right, so carrying on from them two categories, we've got Unsung Hero of the Season. Pretty similar as well to comeback and most improved, but someone that just doesn't get the credit that they deserve. So we've got Isaac Hayden, Matt Ritchie, Dwight Gale, and Kieran Clark.
It's got to be Hayden for me. Like, I mean, you mentioned it in the midfielder of the season, didn't you? And he could easily be up there for player of the season.
Yeah.
Because Hayden as well, to come back from Craven Cottage last game of the season, applauding him off, singing there's only one Isaac Hayden.
Yeah,
frustrating times under Hayden as well, where it's always seemed like you wanted to go back down south. Maybe he started to get it a bit more, appreciate it a bit more. Brought consistency as well. He was game a lot more. Week in, week out, 110%, grafts his arse off, getting more clinical in tackling, offering a lot more around the pitch. And Hayden, for me, I said it in the squad ratings, like, Arsenal would be gutted they let him go for pennies, because they would need someone to add. I think Hayden could get into most Premier League teams. He's English. If he was at a club in London, Southgate would be looking at him. For me, he's that good.
Yeah, definitely. I think he could get into most teams. Like even just as a squad player, like say Arsenal, Chelsea, Tottenham. I think he could get into any one of them teams. Like honestly, he is so unsung. It's ridiculous. Like you say, if he was at a bigger club, like be like kind of like a Jordan Henderson. I think people like maybe go on a little bit more about Jordan Henderson than is necessary, and not just because he's a Mackham, but I think he kind of just goes a little bit unnoticed. But Isaac Hayden, it's massive. I think Kieran Clark's done himself a world of good this season as well. I'd say he's only had about 17 appearances, but when he's played, I think coming into the season, he was probably my least favourite centre back because we have got quite a few good ones. I felt last season he did okay. I don't think he really set the world alight or anything, but this season when he filled in, I thought he was absolutely class in most games. I think he had a good run in of like 4 or 5 games where he was absolutely unreal.
Aye.
Isaac Hayden. We'll go on to moment of the season. Nominees for this one is Matty Longstaff's debut goal, the winner against Man United. The 2-2 comeback against Everton. Last minute, Florian Lejeune's brace in the dying seconds secured a point. Isaac Hayden's last second winner against Chelsea, 1-0 win. And the overall FA Cup run, both the win against Oxford and the win against West Brom.
It's hard, because as much as we complain about this season, those moments, a handful of them have been class. You can make a case for every single one of them.
Yeah, definitely.
But what hits home for me is Matty Longstaff just drilling that in from the edge of the area.
It was special,
against one of the biggest clubs in the world, for a lad to make his debut, something we would dream of. He's one of us. He proves that you can make it, you can do something. So for him to be given a chance and just take it by both hands, score the winner, it was just fairy tale stuff on it.
It definitely was. The other two, I think, these came in the space of a couple of days. If you remember, I think the Chelsea game was on a Saturday and the Everton game was on a Tuesday, I think it was. Both games were absolutely dreadful. How we came away with 4 points out of them, I will never, ever know. I remember we were at the Chelsea game, and I remember I said it about 89 minutes. I remember laughing, going, we're going to get a point out of this. How the fuck have we stolen a point out of this? Because we were gash up front. We didn't have anything. That was one of the games saint-maximin wasn't fully fit. And he just did absolutely nothing. He was just stuck in the mud in the middle of the park. Just didn't get running. Chelsea, to be fair to them, Chelsea were wasteful. I think if they really wanted to win that game, they could have easily. I think they wasted a lot of chances. But if that game was going to finish 0-0, I was fucking pissing my pants. I was like, we've getting a point out of that. We were so shit. Like, that point against a great team like Chelsea is amazing. And the last second, 94th minute, getting a corner whipped in backstick. Stole our 3 points. What a fucking absolute frisk that was.
We were shouting, weren't we, all game long to take saint-maximin off because he was hobbling all over. And he's the one that put the ball in for him to get the winner. Typical, but that was literally snatch and grab Magpies this season, because the amount of times we've turned to each other and we've said, how the fuck are we got out of this game?
That was probably the biggest 3 points that we should never, ever have gotten. Chelsea should be fucking slapping themselves for allowing that to happen. They should have won that game 3-0.
Lampard would be slapping Abraham out of Newcastle after that, how he didn't put one of them in the back of the net. You'd be thinking, I'm going to buy a fucking big striker this summer. Because they should have been out of sight. But that's football. You've seen what Everton were out of sight, 2-0 up. and Lejeune pops up with about 90 seconds left and scores 2. Unreal.
Well, we literally didn't even have a shot in that game, I don't think. Going into the 90th minute, 2-0 down, no shots. Probably one of the most boring, frustrating games of the season. Just didn't get going, didn't have anything going forward. I think once Everton went 2-0 up, they kind of took the foot off the pedal. All the Scousers were leaving to go home, getting the bus, getting to work early in the morning because it was a Tuesday, and fuck this, we've won this. Clean out of sight. Even a lot of the Toon fans, the away end, it split by half almost. I think even Toon fans had fucked off, going, why have I wasted my time coming down here? Snatching one in the 93rd minute, I think it was. I was kind of optimistically going, we could get something out of this. But I thought that's not enough time. There's absolutely no chance we're going to get anything. But at least we've got a goal. We've had one shot. We've getting a goal out of it. At least it hasn't been an entirely wasted trip. And we got that free kick lumped up. I thought, we could actually fucking get something out of this.
Then, like, the most excited I've ever been. Like, I was recording and I was like, oh, like making loads of mad little squeaky noises every time the ball was bouncing about, and then for to go home, it was just disbelief, man. And it's just that's why you do it. That's why you have them.
It's definitely not going to be. It's definitely not game of the season though, because it was a fucking shit game. It was a glorious 90 seconds at best, I think. But,
Scottish time of the season.
But we couldn't even see the goal because of where we were in the away stand. The box was so crowded and congested, and the ball just went over the line. It was like a decision system. We were like, "What the fuck's going on?" And then like the players start running away, like, "Oh, they've scored!"
All the players came to us as well. All the players
came running towards the away, and they were like, "I think we've scored. I don't know. I don't know what the hell's just happened." So that was class. And cup run, we made it to the quarterfinals for the first time in 15 years. Bit iffy. We had to go to replays against League One opposition in Rochdale and Oxford, but the saint-maximin's goal against Oxford, what an absolute peach in extra time. The celebrations, the cock out, the helicopter, and then away to West Brom. That was a great game. Inflatable cocks all out of the shop. Went 3-0 up, looking comfortable, but towards the end it was a little bit of a ropey end to the game. But just the cup run, it's just a shame that we sat back and let Man City absolutely pepper in the end. But it was good times getting to the quarterfinal. We got excited. I think lockdown came at the wrong time as well because we were due to play that quarterfinal game like the week after. So if lockdown maybe didn't come, maybe we would have been in a bit higher spirits and getting a little bit more out of the cup. But them moments, the Watford West Brom game as a whole, the extra time winner at Oxford, great moments. So tough category that. Like all four of them are probably worthy.
Yeah.
Which one's standing out to you, Matty Longstaff?
I think you have to go Matty Longstaff.
Yeah. I was in the Gallagher for that goal, and he came running over and like local lad. We'd been wanting to see him for ages. He had a wicked pre-season. And I remember thinking like it was great to see him because we didn't actually expect him to start that game. First Premier League game against Man United. Really, Brucey? Are you fucking serious? But he was man of the match. He was absolutely unreal. And for him to get the winner debut goal, special moments that I wish we could have a few more of, but probably looks like we're not going to get a few in a while.
Not with Matty anyways.
So alternatively then, worst moment of the season. That's probably been more than them than good. Nominee option 1, Burnley away. That absolutely horror show in the middle of December. The horror show against City in the FA Cup that put out where we just lay back. I think that's probably, you could put the 2 City games there in a couple of weeks, to be fair. Both games against City, FA Cup and the league. Got beat 5-0 in the league, 2-0 in the cup. I think the cup was even a worse performance, even though we conceded 3 less goals.
It was,
shit. That was the 0-0 at home to Brighton. That was, to be fair, there was plenty 0-0s this season. We'll put Rochdale as a nominee there as well. First FA Cup game where Joe Linton just stuck in the mud up front, lazy, couldn't be arsed. But there's also Norwich, that 0-0 at home.
Or the hammering away that we thankfully win at.
Thank God for Joey Rick actually getting married. Oxford at home, just boring 0-0 defensive shit shows. There's quite a few moments this season, but we'll narrow it down. We'll say Brighton 0-0, Rochdale 0. Oh, no, it was 1-1. That wasn't it. That wasn't 2-0. That was 1-1 against Rochdale. City 2-0 in the cup. Burnley 1-0 away.
Personally, I never want to go to Turf Moor again.
I know. That's actually put me off.
Burnley's a world of pain down there in
really
Snowball Town.
I go back. Swear to God, next year.
It was just.
I hope we're in lockdown.
Super ugly. I hope it's the first game of the season, so there's definitely no chance. Get out of the way. You don't have to think about that. Get out of the way. Burnley first game of the season, pretty please. But nah, it's ugly game, ugly stadium, ugly city. Everything was really, really ugly. The weather was hailstoning, it was freezing.
The drive down was fucking shit, going through the Yorkshire moors and shit.
the whole day was just a pure disaster. And we went
It
from
really was.
what about Everton away, that last bit of magic makes it all worthwhile. Well, Burnley on the other hand makes you think I'm not going to watch football ever again because
Nope.
it's just that bad. And I remember Gale's miss was the only thing of the game where he puts it away from about 2 yards. But just everything to stand there, freezing your balls off just to watch Sunday League football when you paid
Yeah.
our 200 quid to make it happen.
I
So
know.
that was definitely bad. But what really hurts, I think, was the manner of the defeat in the FA Cup. Like, it was good getting to the quarter final. Didn't expect anything, but the way we just whimpered out was pathetic. So that's up there. And then, like you say, we went to Rochdale, and that was a piss poor performance. To be fair,
Shocking,
I don't think we can put that in there as the winner because the first half an hour was alright. We're all over them. We should have probably made it
first
2 or 3.
Yeah.
But the last hour, second half was abysmal, embarrassing. They should have won it at the end as well. That big one that came off the bench.
Chances, yeah.
Big Derek, 52-year-old. He should have put it in the back of the net. Like we should have been out the FA Cup at that point. To be fair, and that Joelinton performance one of the worst I've ever seen Newcastle shit. But for me, fuck Burnley. I'm going Burnley.
I think you're right. I'd say I never had a problem with Burnley before then. I actually quite like them. I quite like what Sean Dyche did, bringing them up to the Premier League. They've brought through some decent players in the time in the league, but now I fucking hate them. And I swear to God, I'm never going back to Turf Moor. Like the drive down, just getting stuck through these Yorkshire dales, absolutely pissing down with rain and snow. Couldn't see out me windscreen. And we got there, absolute shithole of a town. I'm sorry if you're from Burnley, but you know that's true. It's a fucking horrible, stuck in the 70s town. Out there, apart from little old people's cottages.
Fail to mention as well the absolute disaster waiting to happen. That is their way of getting you into the stadium, where they cram about 3,000 people into this tiny little box and with this one entrance. Like that's just Hillsborough waiting to happen. 2.0.
How do you expect to have 2,000-3,000 Geordies in that tiny little space? Like they haven't even got a bar. They've got a fucking what are they called? The little tent thing,
gazebo things.
They've got a gazebo. What's this? Non-league football?
I know, you're Premier League, you've been here a while, sorted out.
Like, why have you got a gazebo just set up in the car park? What's that about? There's one toilet, one entrance. Like, that is proper Hillsborough. The stewards were shit as well. You couldn't even leave at half-time. People were trying to leave you at half-time. The stewards were like, you can't come up here. What are you talking about? Honestly, that was one of the worst games from start to finish. Weather, the drive, the stewards, the stadium, the bar, the toilet, the game. Everything was just shit about that day. The roads in Burnley couldn't get out. Like me sat nav didn't know where I was going.
We just go around.
Just keep going up these wrong streets. Me sat nav was like, I don't know, mate. I was like, oh, wicked. After that, I just want to go home. And for fuck's sake. I was nearly crying behind the wheel. I was like, I just want to go home, man. I'm stuck in Burnley. I'm stuck in this time warp. I can't get out of Burnley. It took us nearly an hour to get out of Burnley. I was fucking raging. That was honestly the worst game of football I've ever experienced in my whole entire life.
That's why we're going for it. It's personally that bad. I mean, if you're watching this and you just seen the Burnley score and it was like, 1-0 away to Burnley, kind of expect
it's not very good.
Got knocked out the FA Cup quarter final.
You'd even know that.
You'd even know what guys do now in Burnley, I tell you.
Okay, no. Hopefully that's in lockdown next season because I ain't going back ever again.
Less of that, like.
So from worst moments, we now go on to crowning the worst player.
Nominees, please.
All of them.
Saint-Maximin.
Specifically, we've got Nabil Bentaleb, Joelinton, Fabian Schär, and Sean Longstaff. We'll go in reverse order because I know who you're going to say. So we'll go with Sean Longstaff.
I think I have to go with Sean at the bottom of that.
One of our big players from last season. Attracted massive claims in the summer, 30, 50 million moves, Man United, big European clubs interested, young lad. We were desperate to keep hold of him, even for 50 million, and we're like, nah. We just thought Mike Ashley's going to accept that. Like, Mike Ashley will have an academy lad, 50 million, all right, neighbour. We were desperate to keep a hold of him, and I don't know what happened. The Knights had quite a few injuries this season, to be fair to him, but he's had 2 good games where he started as a number 10. When he's higher up the field, he's actually been all right, but I don't know what's happened to him. It's been very, very disappointing.
I think the Man U move definitely affected him. The injuries have hampered him. But his best game was, well, it wasn't great, was it? It was probably the last one where he was on the ball a bit more when he came on. He was looking up a bit more, but he's still nowhere near. Well, it was his best game. Sorry, no, it was when he Sheffield United away he scored, didn't he? And in the FA Cup, like we said, in the number 10 role. But very few and far between. Shocking season from Sean, especially after how good he was last year.
Yeah.
But he wasn't the worst of that bunch for me.
Yeah, Fabian Shaw, Player of the Year last season.
Again, aye. What the fuck happened to Fabian Shaw?
It's good that he's had a year off.
Aye, he's enjoyed that.
Brought his shit twin brother in.
Aye.
I mean, he's a good-looking lad now. I didn't think there was two of them, but there must be.
Shaw twins. And don't know what's happened to the other one. But Shaw just doesn't look like the same player this year. Hopefully, he can do better next year. Gotta be.
Yeah, we need last season's Shaw back.
I think you're right. Where we didn't expect that much from Shaw because he was a cheap sign as well. But he probably set the benchmark too high as well. But he's got to do more. He's got to do a lot more because even in terms of effort, it wasn't there. But still not the worst out of that bunch.
Yeah, well, club record signing, huge 40 million price tag on a Brazilian wonder kid, the next Bobby Firmino. Joelinton, 4 goals in all competitions, 2 in the Premier League, £40 million worth.
Just for that,
10 million a goal.
Just for that alone, he could edge it because of that, because of being £40 million and because of the stats in return. But I just don't think he suits us at all. And we all know he's played as the lone striker for the majority of the season when he's a left forward. We've seen it when he switched there, he was better. Still not great, still nowhere near with 40 million. And for the return of what he gives is pathetic, really, let's be honest. Hopefully he can kick on next year. Hopefully he gets played in his best position. He will stay because no one else will take him, but they'll never take it. If you look, you get 10 million for him. So hopefully we'll see more next year, but this year has just been not enough at all. We were mentioned up until around autumn after the Rochdale game, there was just no effort, was there? There was a lot of times where he was just dragging his heels, couldn't be arsed, not interested. He seems to get it a bit more now. His families came across, he's putting the graft in more. He's still nowhere near what we expect though for even half that price tag. And the amount of stick Hoslu got, wouldn't know why Joelinton gets it. Hoslu was only 5 million, Joelinton's 40 million. You'd never know it. So for all I am, you could put him top of that pile, like you really could, but I won't.
Yeah. You're going with Nabil Bentaleb, won't you? January loan signing from Schalke.
I will, but you can see it in a way though, because like we said, Joelinton on £40 million permanent. Bentaleb was brought in for a few months, but Bentaleb is the worst player I've seen in a very long time. I didn't want to go on and just type in Bentaleb rant and it'll come up somewhere, especially after the Man City games. But basically, brings nothing to the team. Passes backwards all the time. Passes sideways if you're lucky. Doesn't get stuck in. Absolutely useless. Massive waste of time in the middle of the park. Pure shit. Pure not shit. Can't get over him. Why we signed him. Why he kept on playing him. And he better not sign permanently. I'm telling you. You better not fucking sign permanently.
Fucking better not, they. But I don't really understand why we signed him, because Matty was just getting himself established in the team there, and he was like a breath of fresh air. So I had Matty, Sean, Shelvey, and Hayden. Like, they were all right. There was no Asia Cup. There was no real injuries. So we're doing all right. And now Brucey identified he wanted like a creative midfield player, and they thought that was the guy. But how? What was creative about that? Like, I didn't think we really needed one. I thought Matty could have been that creative spark if just given a bit more training, just a bit more trust in him. As bringing a 5th centre mid in, that wasn't what we needed. We could have fucking brought in a striker or anyone for that.
Brucey still wants that this summer, doesn't he? He wants that ball playing, controlling centre mid, which can be good because Shelvey does obviously just drop back and make something happen. Hayden is good for getting stuck in. We haven't got someone who will keep a hold of the ball and keep a hold of a game and like change momentum of a game. But not many teams do who aren't top teams, who aren't like top 4. Like, you only see that from the likes of a Pirlo or a Scholes, whoever. Do you know what I mean? But so where Newcastle are at, like you say, the last thing we needed was a Nabil fucking Bentaleb.
But he needed like an attacking midfield player. Why the fuck did he sign Bentaleb?
I know. Then he still plays Sean in another 10 role, not Bentaleb.
backwards and sideways passing. I always thought even that Tottenham Bentley was a bit more of a DM kind of role. Anyway, like maybe it's not like a DM, but a bit more of like a solid kind of midfield player. Like I've never really seen him as like a really good attacking threat, and certainly from what we've seen of him, backwards and sideways passing. Like, what was going on? Like, what kind of training does he have? Like, oh, you can be our creative central midfield player, but just to make sure you pass it back all the time.
Yeah, nah, exactly.
Like, what the fuck was the point in that?
It's just Bruce Yard, he just tries to. He doesn't realise, man. It's just like Joe Linton. Where'd you play, son? Left wing. Number 9, Joe. Get yourself up there, yeah. Andy, show him the ropes. Obviously, didn't even bother doing that. Yeah, Kraft, where'd you play? Oh, right back. Well, we'll put your right wing, or we'll put your centre back. You're not going to play in that right back position too much. Just fucking shambles, man.
We'll crown Bentleb worst player of the season. And they're the negative categories. So we'll move on now to game of the season.
Oh.
Couple of nominees I've got here is Man City at home, 2-2 draw. Sheffield United at home, a 3-0 win. Bournemouth away, 4-1 win. And Man United at home, the 1-0 Matty Longstaff win.
Ooh, taught to look past Matty again, innit? 1-0 against Man U.
Yeah.
I did enjoy
that game as well, yeah.
I did enjoy the 2-2 against City, though. We actually thought, again, why the fuck didn't we do that in the FA Cup quarter-final? We gave City a real go that game. We scored a couple of goals. You're always going to concede a couple of goals against Man City. Yeah. But at least we scored a couple. At least we're threatened. We scored some worldies now. Will Enzel and Shelby with 2 great goals.
It was straight away as well. Like, when City go ahead, like, if they go 1-0 up, you think, all right, we've lost this game. Like, Man City are too good to really spark a comeback with. But twice they went ahead in that game, and I think only about a minute or two later, like straight away, we equalised in both games. Like after both goals, sorry. But like the last one, De Bruyne's thunder cunt in off the bar, that was about 87, 88 minutes or something like that. So like, if you go down to Man City with only a couple of minutes left on the clock, you think, where should I look here? Need more time, but we did. We pulled it back twice. So I like that was huge against the champions as well, like last season's Premier League winners. Great team, and to pull back twice and actually get a point out of it, that was mint.
I think Sheffield United as well, after we're waiting for football to come back for months after Corona, and it was a dominant display against everyone who was wanking off Sheffield United all season, and Chris Wilde and Brucey just did them over, and we're just thinking, well, that's going on, we actually played some good football. Joe Linton even scored. So
he did.
That was a canny day at the office, and to be fair, Bournemouth away as well was tremendous.
Both games,
day. We get albeit against the Bournemouth side that were out, completely gone. But fluid football, good goals. Sean, Almiron, even Lazaro came off the bench and looked wonderful. Wunderbar.
Wunderbar.
But for me, I think yes, probably not. I don't know, because we'll give it a moment this season, didn't it, Matty? So game overall, I'd maybe go. I don't know. What do you think?
I don't know. It is tough, because the Matty Longstaff United game was the goal in itself was moment of the season. It was a special moment, but like we actually played well. Like we're talking about like the Chelsea win before. Like we were fucking shit. So you can't say that's game of the season. Like we're absolutely wank. Like it was just a great moment to have won.
Result of the season.
Got a last minute goal out of absolutely nothing. Like some games, like we've snatched points and stuff, but it hasn't been pretty. But the United game, I actually thought we dominated pretty well. Like we defended really, really well. We attacked well, not brilliantly, but we attacked quite well. Great counter attack to get the goal. But to pull 2 goals back against Man City at home in front of our own crowd was wicked. But the other 2 games were dominant. Like I say, Bournemouth, they were shit. Like they just laid down and died. I think they were waiting for relegation to come and swallow them up. But Sheffield United, like you say, like they were good. I think they were sitting 6th at the time. We did the double over them. We beat them in about November 2-0 away. And after like with 3-4 months in lockdown, we were just dying for football to come back. But I was also kind of wary, thinking, what if we come back and we're shit? Like if we lose after this long of waiting, it's just gonna be like, wow, what was the point? Might as well just going back into quarantine, just cancel the season. I can't be asked for this shit. Like, that's kind of what I was kind of expecting. I was like, we've had some tough games coming up. We had City the game afterwards. We had Liverpool, another game against City, Tottenham, and all that coming up. I was thinking, if we don't get off to a good start, it's just going to be shit. Like, we weren't clear from relegation at that point either. So, yeah, I don't know. That is a tough category, to be fair. Like, Sheffield kind of is standing out. 3 good goals. Matt Ritchie scored a belter. He said Joe Linton played really well, scored a good goal. Bournemouth was class. It's a shame that we conceded that 1 goal at the end, though. Finishing that game at 4-0.
No.
I think that probably would have won if we just didn't concede that stupid goal. Fucking Dan Gosling getting on the end of it now. I don't know. It is tough. Like, all 4 are worthy.
And now, because I need to mention, this could have been there in moment of the season as well, actually, because it goes back to, it's definitely not the game of the season, but it's up there with the result of the season. Tottenham away, Joe Linton.
Yeah, well, I did have that in, to be fair, but I thought for moments,
in that game, though. We got battered.
Yeah, we did. Defensively, absolute rock at the back. All credit to the defence. Possibly defensive display of the season, but the game as a whole, like Tottenham did dominate. The pepper to it, to be fair, but we defended class.
Could have definitely had that moment of the season. Like, we mentioned how everything was so shit about playing in Turf Moor. Opposite
Tottenham
in their new stadium.
Yeah,
lush day, lush stadium, lush result.
Burnley pissing down with rain, snow, freezing, shithole of a stadium, shithole of a town. Tottenham opposite, beautiful sunny day. It was August, end of August. Like Tottenham Stadium, best stadium I've ever been in. Beautiful, modern. Like, just the whole day being in the capital city, it was just a good day overall. Even if we didn't get the result, probably still would have enjoyed the day. You know, great experience, great, beautiful sunny day. Pints that fill it from the bottom. Everything was class, and just the win to cap it off when you striker scored his first goal. Rock of a defensive performance. That was fucking mint. So yeah, I was going to put that in for game of the season, but as we did just sit back and defend a lot, like I can't really. I think really put that one in.
I didn't want to put a draw as the game of the season against Man City, although beat against one of the best teams. So I think you have to go Sheffield United because, like you say, that made it pretty much certain that we were going to be safe. Good game back, solid performance, dominated against one of the top 6 sides, one of the most sought after teams of the season, Sheffield United. And Joe Linton scoring, comfortable game. I'll give it a Sheffield United.
Yeah, nice. And we'll go on to goal of the season. We've got 5 options here, which is weird because you wouldn't really have thought. I thought I'd be struggling with this one. The nominees are Jetro Willems away to Liverpool, John Joe Shelvey at home to Man City, Matty Longstaff again at home to Man United, Alan Saint-Maximin away to Oxford, and Matt Ritchie at home to Spurs.
Quite a few there to pick from, all worthy of it, but
could have also had Ritchie at home to Sheffield United as well. They were both quite similar goals. I think the Tottenham one was a bit better.
I don't want to pick Matty again, so I have to go Saint-Maximin. I think that, albeit against Oxford late, but in a huge game, extra time, everything mattered, everything fell. Pretty much sums us up, really. Like, if Saint-Maximin's going to do it, no one is. Saint-Maximin gets it just in our halves, and he takes on 2 or 3, fires it into the top corner. What a finish, what a strike. Best celebrations ever seen as well. Penny Copper on BBC. So, and if it's Saint-Maximin to get involved, retweet it, everything else, that for me, goal of the season.
It was a good goal because that was the first time we'd actually seen him bury one in the top corner from outside the box. Like, all season he'd been trying it. I think we were kind of questioning his end product a little bit. I think at that point he might have only had just the 1 goal against Sheffield away. And to score that goal, just doing what we knew he could do. It was only Oxford, it was League One opposition, but just close control. He was quick, just beat 2 or 3, got himself in space just outside the box and rocketed at top corner. It was a good goal. The others are decent nominees now, to be fair. I like Jetro Willems' goal against Liverpool.
Oh, aye. 1-0 up and now.
Like, it's quick little footwork. Like, you cut in, use a little bit of skill to beat Alexander-Arnold, one of the best right backs in the league. Nice little footwork. Blasted at top bins on his weaker foot, on his right foot. against Alisson, one of the top goalkeepers in the world. Like, I thought that was a class goal to put 1-0 up early away to Liverpool as well. Like that was a very good goal. But I think that's quite a tough category as well. But I give it a saint-maximin.
I would, for the importance of it. Williams, if we had went on and got something, but then again, it doesn't matter about the result. It's goal of the season.
It's just the finish, isn't it? Yeah,
just the finish. So I see it still though. saint-maximin for me, taking on a few of them and then firing it in top corner as well. I'll still give it the same, but I don't understand Williams.
Yeah, all right, we award it the Saint then. And to finish it off, the last award of the night goes to, Player of the Season. Nominees: Federico Fernandez, John Joe Shelvey, Martin Dubravka, and Alan saint-maximin.
And now the club obviously gave Dubravka it. You can understand that. Saved a lot of points. But saint-maximin, in terms of excitement, entertainment, getting the goals, getting the assists, getting the dribbles, how important is he to us? Because Dubravka can save them at the other end, but if he keeps on saving them, it's going to be 0-0.
As it was many times.
saint-maximin is the difference of us getting 3 points for me, and he was huge. Obviously, everyone's watching him, after him, on everyone's lips at the minute. What a signing for the smallest, what was it, £17 million. As much as Jordan was a flop, saint-maximin was a diamond in the dirt. For me, deserves Player of the Season.
Yeah, I like to say, as well as Dubravka did, it doesn't get you off your seat, does it? It doesn't really excite you. It doesn't give you a tingle in the balls. It's just, it's like, oh, good save, thank you. Without you, would be losing. But saint-maximin's just a different gravy. Like, just every time he gets the ball, he's got like a little bit of space in front of him. Like, we're off our seat, we're on the edge. We're going, oh, what's he going to do? He's just so exciting. Like, we haven't had a player like that since Ben Arthur. Someone who can get the ball and make things happen, get you excited. Like, every time he touches the ball, you're thinking, oh, fucking hell. It's great to have a player like that. And like I say, only 17 million. It's an absolute bargain. I don't know if it's going to rise. I don't know if it's just a straight 17, like rise to 20, but even so, 20 million, 40 million, who gives a shit? It's absolute wicked signing. As long as his end product continues to improve, let's say at the start of the season, it wasn't the best, but it's just what he does on the ball. Like, he doesn't even need the end product to get the fans excited, but the end product was starting to show towards the end of the season. He was chipping in with a few goals. I think he finished with 4 goals and 4 assists or something like that. If he can continue to improve, I think we'll have him for at least one more year. I know everyone's shitting themselves at him being sold, which is a very, very high possibility. I think we'll get at least one more year out of him because I think he likes it here. You can tell, like, that's another reason why he's like a favourite player. Like, you can do anything you want on the pitch, but like Ben Arthur, he seemed like a bit of a cock, wasn't he? Like, he didn't really train well. He didn't really have an attitude. He fell out with Pardew. Like, saint-maximin's a pure fan favourite. He interacts with fans every day on Twitter. He's always posting on Instagram, playing at home with his kids, wearing a fucking full-on replica shirt, out shopping in the Metro Centre with his tune top on, interacting with fans and stuff. He was volunteering in his first week just after we signed. He was down in the food kitchens helping the homeless and stuff. Like, he's just a top bloke. And for how old he is, he's only 22, 23. He's such a great guy. And I think we will have one more season out of him. And hopefully, if he does, I think he'll be even better. Like, people know who he is now. He's put his name on the map coming to the Premier League. And I think he'll want to improve. If he can improve on 4 goals, 4 assists, say 10 goals and 6 assists or vice versa, that'll be a fairly decent return for him, and I'm looking forward to seeing it.
Hell yeah.
So yeah, saint-maximin Player of the Year. Close one with Martin Dubravka, but it's got to be saint-maximin. And that concludes it for another year.
Let's see where we are this time in the year.
Hopefully there'll be a few more positive moments, a few less bent lebs in the world, a few less Burnley away games.
Bring back fans once Turf Moor away is done.
Alright, that'll do it.
That'll do it. Thanks very much for watching, everyone. Make sure you pop in your awards for each category in the comments below. Do you agree with ours or not? Subscribe to my Pie Channel TV and enjoy yourself.